Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel. My name's Michael, and I started this channel back in 2019. I've actually had a YouTube for about 12 or 13 years now for posting autocross videos, but I rebranded the channel and launched it as like an actual YouTube channel as I needed a creative outlet and stuff like that. And it actually all started with miniatures of all things. Specifically, it was actually Hot Wheels for the first video, and it was a how-to on taking the tampos off, which are these little decals and stuff on there. And then also Hot Wheels had come out with a Mazda 787B race car, and the rear spoiler was in this kind of weird plastic that was like just destroyed, and it was like a how-to on how to fix that. And that's where the Plays with Cars YouTube channel started. Now, obviously, our bread and butter is one-to-one cars, right? The real thing. We've got our Project Porsche, the 944 S2 Dragon Slayer that we've driven cross-country from Florida to Washington State. That's got over 200,000 miles on it. We've got our Audi S4 that we've been taking autocrossing and Mary Hill loops and track days and things like that. And then we've gone through a raft of other project cars in the last 4+ years. So we've had a C5 Z06 Corvette, we've had a Cobra Mustang, we've had the Boxster S, the 986 project that we did all the way up to SEC National Tour with, a bunch of different 4x4s, an old Land Rover, an old Bronco, a couple of Ford Flexes with the twin turbos and all that, and those all do great. And that's, you know, probably the majority of the people here subscribed to the channel are. But what happened is I got a really interesting email from YouTube, actually. They kind of been diving into demographics a little more for small channels like myself to help us grow. And one of the things that this email told me was that a very sizable number of my demographics, somewhere between 30 and 40%, actually subscribed because of a miniatures video. It was the first video they saw, or it's the one that they've watched the most, things like that. And so when I really started drilling down on the metrics, as much as we are a full-size car channel, people are here for all the cars. You guys respond to building the model cars, you respond to the Hot Wheels cars, you respond to the slot cars. So we used to do this thing called Miniatures Mondays, which was every Monday I posted a video that was specifically on something miniature, and then the rest of the week would be all big car stuff. And now that our video production has kind of really slowed down, I haven't done that in a while, but I'm here to ask you guys, do you want to see Miniatures Mondays again? Do you want more of that content back? I mean, I still am into all the cars. I still race slot cars with Fozar. I still build model cars with my kids. I still play Hot Wheels on the floor with them too, you know? And there's nothing wrong with any of that. All the cars are fun. And yeah, if you guys want to see more of that content, I'm happy to do it. And if you do, stick around, because the rest of this video, we are going to be talking about HO scale slot cars, which I think are probably about the most fun thing you can have outside of a real car. Let's get into it. And I'll start with the one that I was holding for the start of this video. This is an old Aurora AFX car. This actually would have been a Super G Plus when it was new. You can see here on the chassis where it says G Plus. This was actually an excellent chassis, probably one of the best slot car chassis ever made. But the car, more importantly, should be pretty well known to you, especially the sizable portion of our viewership that is into Porsches, like we are. This is a Porsche 917-30. That was the infamous Can-Am race car, as driven by Mark Donohue in Sunoco colors, which you could see here on their original Tampo. And we have some fun things to do with this particular car. And what we're doing with it is decaling it. So this is actually a completely different car. You could see the front valance there is broken off, and it's got the wrong rear spoiler and all that. But this car, I have put some decals. Actually, I think those are the factory decals. These are the decals I picked up. So these are available on eBay. There's a guy that makes these. These are laser cut. These things are really, really, really cool. And I have done a car up with them. And to kind of give you an idea, so this is a factory Aurora G Plus 917-30. This is the L&M paint scheme, obviously, but as you can see, they don't put that on there, on this particular one anyway. And this is one of the decal sets that I have used to kind of make that car and make it a little bit more. And so they have some that are based more on the real cars, and they have some that are kind of based more on the slot cars, but they're really cool. You get them in all sorts of different styles and numbers and stuff like that. And so I'm really excited to take some of the cars that I have in my collection, especially the ones that are more common or the ones that I'm using as race cars, and yeah, restore them with these decals and kind of make something a little bit more unique. Now this is actually something that's near and dear to my heart because obviously I really like Porsches. And the Porsche 917-30 is probably one of my favorite race cars of all time. I mean, it's right up there with the Mazda 787B, Mark Donohue's 71 Trans Am Javelin, right? Like those are like my big three. And you can actually see this car in real life right now down in California at the Rennsport Reunion. I believe it's number 7. I really wanted to go to that, but the realities of life in between work and kids and all that, we weren't able to make it, but Neighbor Tej and Tanya did. So I'm hoping to talk to them about it and see all the photos and stuff like that, but he has sent me a photo of this particular car, so I'm all excited about it. But yeah, I really enjoy, you know, road race cars, especially 24 Hours of Le Mans stuff, Can-Am, you know, GTP, stuff like that. And they made a lot of those in slot cars, and they are really a lot of fun to race in real life in the slot cars. And yeah, you know, you race the ones with the old decals all the time, but yeah, putting these new decals on and changing the race numbers, doing the alternative paint schemes, the other drivers, has actually been like a whole new awakening of another fun way to enjoy this hobby. I didn't happen to get any this time around, but this decal maker guy, he actually makes them for the F1 cars too. AFX, especially in the G Plus era, made fantastic F1 cars. And you can see the decals, they don't hold up so well over the last 30, 40 years, and sometimes go missing. So I do have a number of F1 cars in my collection as well, some of which that also need the decals. Now, one thing that they don't make decals for yet, that I'm really hoping that they will expand to, are the Trans Am cars. Again, especially AFX made all of the famous Trans Am cars from the late 60s and early 70s that raced in the SCCA, and you know, they had some pretty cool paint schemes on them, and some that you know, kind of followed the you know, the originals. But yeah, I think a set of decals on these to help make them look more like the real deal would actually be a really cool thing. Here's a couple more examples of the F1 cars from that era. This one is actually a Tyco. They were a later manufacturer. And then this is another one of those G Pluses. And I mean, you could see this thing is just the business. It looks really close to the real car, especially when you realize the limitations of putting it on an electric chassis like that. But yeah, those decal guys make all the decals for this. You can run Hunt and all of those guys. It's really cool. And then also here's some of those Trans Am cars like I was talking about, like obviously Mark Donohue's Trans Am Javelin there, and you've got the 70 Camaro that was run by Jim Hall and the Chaparral team. You know, and it's not just the old cars either. AFX is still in business, and yeah, they still make some really awesome cars. This particular one, unfortunately, is now out of production. The Audi Le Mans car. Fantastic looking cars, fantastic driving cars. They've made a Peugeot, they've made the Toyota, you know, really, really cool stuff. They're making a lot of like the GT40s and things like that with all new molds. Then you have these smaller manufacturers that are really coming around, like Jag Hobbies. Jag Hobbies made this kind of homemade Can-Am-esque car, and this particular car, this thing flies. Like, if you want to go racing, I think this might be the way to go, is buying something like a Jag instead of working on the old Aurora stuff or even the new AFX stuff. These are like tunable. You can change gear ratios and tire diameters and magnet strengths and all sorts of really cool stuff like that. So, I mean, the slot car racing hobby is like super alive and well, and frankly, if somebody walked in the door and gave me a whole bunch of money, I would open a hobby store right now and put a slot car track in it, because that's how popular it is up here. I know of at least 4 different guys that have a professional 4 to 6 lane layout in their home, in their garage, with full timing gear, again, in that Fozar Club. You know, and that's just in my area. Like, I know that there's more out there. I know that the fray goes on all the time, the T-Jet racers and things like that. So it's definitely a hobby that is having a resurgence right now. And between Auto World and AFX and Jag and things like that, it's really, really cool. So yeah, if you guys want to see more slot car stuff, we've done quite a few videos on them. But yeah, let me know in the comments, shoot a like on it, send it to a friend that might be into slot cars, let me know. Obviously, I got a lot of these. I know a lot of people with them, and I'm happy to do all sorts of videos. We could break down individual chassis, racing classes. We could talk about historical cars, you know, whatever floats your boat. We could even do some customization. So, yeah, anyways, that is it for the video this week. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here and being part of the Plays with Cars YouTube channel. Whether you came for the little cars or the big cars, stay for all of them. We love playing everything cars. Yeah, hopefully you do too. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video.